On Monday, General Motors announced a major recall on approximately 7 million big pickup trucks and SUVs worldwide to replace potentially dangerous airbag inflators. GM will recall full size pickup trucks and SUVs from the 2007 through 2014 model years, including the Chevrolet Silverado 1500, 2500, and 3500 pickups. Also covered are the Chevrolet Suburban Tahoe and Avalanche, the Cadillac Escalade, GMC Sierra 1500, 2500, and 3500, and the GMC Yukon. Joining us now to talk more from Charlotte, North Carolina is Roger Green. Roger, this recall alone is going to cost General Motors approximately $1.2 billion. That's going to equal out approximately a third of their net income for this year so far, a year where a coronavirus pandemic has affected what we spend, how we spend, and how much money these companies are making. This is a major concern at the moment.
Very major concern, and GM is really not having it. As you could imagine, if someone came for a third of your profits, you try to challenge as much as you could, and that's what we're seeing GM doing. They're trying to challenge, and they have been challenging for the past few years, several years, as a matter of fact. They have appeals out now trying to challenge that ruling, hoping that they have done what's necessary to kind of rectify the situation of these recalls. About 11 million have already been fixed, 11 million vehicles, but it's calling for a recall for an additional 7 million vehicles.
This was not an overnight decision from the NHTSA. They have been analyzing the data on the airbags, what it sounds like for about the last 4 years, Roger. But what has happened is that what's been stated is that 27 people have been killed worldwide by the exploding inflators, including 18 in the U.S. And so it makes sense that they are looking into what the cause of this is. Certainly, it's coming at a unique time as far as from a financial standpoint. This is just kind of crazy. And the number of vehicles that are being recalled, some of their top sellers are being recalled at the moment.
Absolutely, Nietzsche. You mentioned something very key and paramount. This is not just a United States issue. This is a worldwide issue. They sell airbags worldwide. We have about 100 million vehicles that are out worldwide for a recall. So this is something that is very serious. But as you mentioned, this year is probably the worst year that this could have happened. They have been investigating this since around 2017, 2018, when it really became a hot button issue. So this is probably the worst year that it possibly could have happened. When it rains, it really does pour sometimes. So GM, they're in a sticky situation, but do we put profits over the lives of people? So that's the dilemma that we're in. And I'm so glad that the government is really saying, no, we need safety first, regardless of profits that GM will lose.
Certainly, because the concern is still that the inflators run the risk of exploding. And, that is definitely not anything that the NHTSA or anyone who is driving these vehicles wants to place inside of any vehicle. An exploding inflator can cause the largest series of has caused the largest series of recalls in U.S. history. This is pretty unique for
Yeah.
GM, and especially for this year. Many of those vehicles, Roger, that I mentioned earlier, are vehicles that all of us drive, and so this is definitely
Yes.
going to be a very unique time for GM.
Absolutely. I drive a Silverado from time to time. So when I read this report, it was astonishing to me. And I've been in a car accident before where the airbag deployed. It's already an unpleasant event, like you've gotten punched in the face by, 1,000, you know, degrees of dynamite. It is not a pleasant experience. So have an explosion of nitrate like that, potentially, that's scary. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Certainly, I believe the issue, Roger, that they're looking at is that what's placed in the airbags over time can deteriorate when it's exposed to heat and humidity, and it can explode with too much pressure, blowing apart a metal canister and putting out shrapnel. That is certainly something that would be worrisome to anyone who's driving these vehicles.
Yes.
Certainly looking forward to seeing how this investigation pans out. Roger, thank you so much for joining us today.
Nietzsche, it's always a pleasure talking with you.